So, one of the challenges in delivering public safety to reservation communities in North Dakota is this thicket and maze of jurisdictions, right? So you have a situation where who investigates the crime and who prosecutes the crime and what courtroom you go to depends on the race of the perpetrator and the victim. So if a Native American commits a felony case against another Native American at, say, Standing Rock, that case ends up in federal court. If a non-Native, a Caucasian, a white person commits a crime against another white person down at Standing Rock, that doesn't end up in federal court. It ends up in Sioux County State's Attorney Court and the district court in Sioux County, and the appeal goes to the North Dakota Supreme Court. If an Indian commits a crime against a non-Native, it's another analysis. If it's a non-Native committing a crime against a Native American, it's another analysis. As a result, imagine this. Imagine a homicide scene with 4 people killed, all non-Native. Police walk into a homicide scene, 4 people dead on the reservation. They're all non-enrolled members of the tribe. They don't know who did it because it's a stone cold whodunit. We got to find out who did this. Because we don't know if the perpetrator is an American Indian or a non-Native, it is unclear whether or not state police or FBI have jurisdiction to investigate that crime. They could look at each other and say, well, that's not my problem, that's your problem. That actually happened while I was U.S. Attorney. And thank God the working relationships between the BCI, the FBI, the tribal police, the BIA, they were able to come together and say, we've got to solve this crime. We'll figure out who's going to take the lead later. But imagine being at the scene of a quadruple homicide, including children being killed, and not knowing what law enforcement agency is supposed to be investigating the crime. If you want to understand why delivering criminal justice on the reservation is difficult, that story says it all. There is a perception, a long-held and deeply held perception in Indian country that the sentences Indians face in the federal system are harsher than the ones the average person might face in state court. And again, while the data at this point hasn't been crunched to come up with evidence-based data analysis to fully support it, the perception is there. And I always feel when it comes down to the criminal justice system, you have to remember, to some extent, perception is reality. Why? Because if the people being governed by the criminal justice system, the people being held accountable under it, the society that is enacting it, if you don't trust it, then it's not going to work. If 1 in 3 female babies delivered at Sanford in Bismarck, if we knew that there was a 1 in 3 chance that 1 out of 3 of those little girls in pink blankets at the OBGYN at Sanford, we knew that there was a chance that 1 in 3 of them would be sexually assaulted before they died, the community of Bismarck would be outraged and we would not stand for it. There would be no resources spared to address that issue. 40 miles away at Standing Rock, 100 miles away, Fort Berthold, 1 in 3 Native American women will be sexually assaulted by the time at some point in their life. 1 in 3, those jingle dancers at the powwow, 1 in 3 of those girls is going to be sexually assaulted before she dies. Why is that acceptable 40 miles from here if it wouldn't be acceptable in our community?